And our first guest comes to us from Boise, Idaho, Mr. Robert Grover. He's the CEO of PCS Edventures Incorporated. PCSV is their stock symbol. Robert, welcome to the program.
Thank you, Don. It's great to be here.
Well, we're glad to have you here. Now, of course, PCS Edventures describes itself as a company engaged in developing, marketing, and distributing technology-based educational products and services to the pre-kindergarten through university classroom, the K-12 after-school and private learning center and home school markets in the United States. Can you give us a general overview of the company, please?
Sure. And what you've just described, I think sounds kind of daunting. There's a lot of markets out there. One of the things about our programs is they're very universal. PCS focuses on what's called STEM education. That's science, technology, engineering, and math. And our heavy focus is on K-12. Now, there's an enormous need for STEM education, which industry is aware of. There's a number of federal and state initiatives. So there's a lot of recognition that STEM education and STEM literacy is an important piece of our educational framework, and it's something that needs to be improved.
Science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, or STEM education, as you mentioned, is certainly challenging for both students and educators. Now, your company's products have received high marks from educators. How do they work?
Well, our product development group and our company in general, we have three basic things that we focus on in the products and services that we develop. And these are essentially the foundation of our STEM products. One is emphasizing the development of 21st century learning skills. Those are defined as the skills you need to survive in the 21st century global economy. And they include things like the ability to communicate, collaborate, solve problems, think critically, be creative. So that particular aspect is built into all of our products. Second, we emphasize STEM. So all of those things that we're talking about in terms of 21st century skills typically are blended into some type of STEM activity where kids are building, designing, creating, producing something. It might be a robot, it might be a video production, it might be a computer program. The hands-on aspect, blending STEM with 21st century skills, those are two of the foundation pieces. The third is we look at the research base that's out there, we look at standards that need to be addressed, and we focus heavily on brain research. We've learned a lot about how the brain learns, and we blend all of that latest research and the requirements for core standards into that mix. So those are the three basic founding principles of PCS products and services.
Well, 2012 has certainly been a good year for the company for your robotics program sales. Can you tell us a little bit about the robotics products and the market success you've experienced?
Yes, robotics has been something that PCS actually has focused on for a number of years. Even 2 decades ago, we were using Lego robotics in the classroom. So one of the things that separates PCS from a lot of the other companies out there that are working in the educational robotics space is that's our pure focus. We've actually developed specific software around how to teach kids how to program. We've developed hardware that is specifically for educators, has multiple physical hooks that allow it to connect into many different systems. The educational robotics market is exploding. 3 or 4 years ago, it was about $500 million a year in global sales for education kits related to robotics. It's projected to be a $1.6 billion market by 2014, and PCS is perfectly positioned within that. 2012 saw some wonderful sales. Our second quarter, for example, we announced over $1 million just in robotics products that we're shipping to schools.
I also understand, Robert, that PCS has launched a private learning center initiative. Can you tell us about the reasoning behind this and the progress you're making?
Yes, there's a number of market drivers that make this kind of the perfect storm in the time for learning centers. There's a great need for experiential, hands-on learning. As you probably are aware, and most people across the United States are aware, there's a tremendous upsurge for virtual learning. So kids being able to do more and more classes online. In fact, the state we're in has mandated a number of courses for kids that they're required to take online. And virtual learning has some wonderful attributes to it, but we know from the research that to make learning truly effective, a blended approach is more effective. Blended meaning taking experiential hands-on activities and combining those with the virtual experience. That's where your real gains come from.
Now, STEM appears to have a wider audience and impact than just in the U.S. Can you tell us a little bit about what PCS is doing on the international front, and how are you approaching international sales?
Yeah, absolutely. The global market for STEM education is just as significant and more significant than it is here in the United States. You know, to give you a few examples, we've worked in a number of countries, but two of the ones that are at the top of the list right now for us, India is one. They have over 80 million K-12 students. And India education is well known for rigorous academic performance. They do a great job in terms of preparing students for academic performance. One of the things that they don't address very well is the ability to address the 21st century skill set, which I was describing. So the ability to creatively solve problems and communicate. The partnership that we have with a company in India is specifically taking our experiential approach from our learning centers and from our products and taking it to those 80 million K-12 students. This year we hope to have 30 schools using our materials, and the group that we've partnered with, Crea Learning, has tremendous experience in the education industry, education software, engineering background. They're building and designing a system that uses our programs and services for scalability. So we look at the volume potential of India as enormous. The second country that we're working with closely is in the Middle East, Saudi Arabia. As a developing country, Saudi has an enormous investment in trying to improve and reform their education system. They have a current program that's called the King Abdullah Initiative, which is a $3 billion initiative that is specifically designed to help transform their education system. And we've done very well in terms of positioning ourselves there to be part of a lot of the activities in the Middle East.
Well, Robert, why is this a good time right now for people to take a closer look at PCS Edventures, Inc.?
Well, some of the things that I've just described, the tremendous focus on STEM education and the need for STEM nationwide is obviously a big need. Our particular expertise in educational robotics, and that area is as an exploding market. The other things in terms of positioning internationally, obviously very important. And I think our general business model is one that is perfect for the climate in the United States right now. It blends a combination of experiential services and a lot of products that really bring STEM to life for kids. And that's what we want to do, is instill a passion in kids. In terms of the performance of the company, this year compared to our last fiscal year, we saw a 27% increase in revenue. We hope to continue to make that improve. In fact, we'll be doing an earnings announcement next week for our second quarter, and we'll be talking about that $1 million in robotics sales.
Now, if you want to see a video that really explains the company well, go to pcsedu.com/news. Again, PCS Edventures is the company. PCSV is their stock symbol. Robert, fascinating interview. We'll be watching you very closely over the next several weeks and months, so looking forward to more updates during that period of time. Thanks again for joining us on the program.
Thanks, Don. It's been a pleasure.